Hey, okay, so I'll keep it quick. But I've had like two major interactions. Not major, but like the thought process following them, I think has been major. So I've had two interactions that have like started this train of thought. And the first one was that I think it was about it was Sunday. And around like the eve no, Monday. So it was Monday, and it's like I didn't. After I got back from school, I did not feel like doing any work. I was like, I didn't have that motivation. I was struggling to do it. Like I went to my laptop, I did like all those tricks. You know, like how you start something, like do the bare minimum to build up that motivation and the momentum. But it wasn't working, so I went downstairs to eat lunch, right? And then I started talking to my cousins. They're fun people. Anyways, after that, right, I had a bunch of energy. I was like, okay, yeah, let me go back to this work thing. And then that was the first one. The second one was today, where I was chilling in the senior lounge about to get some work done. Then my friend said, "Hey, dad, let's go to the library." And I said, "Okay, yeah, let's just." They said, "Let's do a study thing together." Then usually, like personally, I've never been a fan of study groups, right? Like I'm a fan of sharing resources, but like study groups in general, I've never been a fan of. And to be honest, now I think about it, I actually had no solid reason why. It's because I put like in my head, I've always categorized myself as more so of an not antisocial person, but more I don't say introvert, but basically more someone who does stuff by himself, like more of a loneliness feels emo, but like I feel like you get the idea from what I'm saying. So when it came over, like whenever it came to do something like in a group, I've always kind of like tried to stay away from that. But ironically, those are always the positions I find myself in. Anyways, I go to do this dual study thing. Right, it turns out it was actually really fun. Like not even fun in the sense of jokes, but fun in the sense I got a bunch of stuff done. And then the reason for that was that I actually finished the main thing I got went there to do like early, right? And then since my partner wasn't done, I just said I sat there and stuff moving on to like, oh, let me go eat lunch, so let me do this. And then I was like that having to stay like forced me to think about other stuff I had to do. I was like, oh, I got all the stuff I actually forgot to do off my task list. And I had like a clear task list. Okay, so besides the disjunctive story, why am I saying this? The idea is that I'm actually, as I'm getting older at least, is that I'm realizing that I am, as much as I hate the word, as much as I dislike the word, as much as I don't care for the word. Look, I'm a positive person. um, I'm realizing I'm actually partially an extrovert, right? Which is funny because during the whole in Montgomery County, right, one thing they do is that you take this test, and it basically tells you if you're an ENTP, which I was, or your other character. I'm just gonna say characterizations because I forgot the actual terminology. But I'm an ENTP, and I always thought it was dumb because like, oh, I'm a. There's no proper word I'm looking for in my head, but I'm more so of an isolated person. I like that. So in my head, I always had the idea I was an isolated person. I was like, oh, another reason I didn't like the whole extroverted ENTP thing was that the job prospects for ENTP were never a programmer, right? It wasn't like software engineering. That wasn't like the top one. So I felt like they were directly insulting me, like saying, "Oh, you can't do this thing." So then the imposter syndrome kind of mixed in with the reason I didn't like to be characterized as extroverted. Now, what does this have to do with Project Phillips and like me as a person? So one thing I realized is that I don't think I've been taking full advantage of my personality, right? And the largest reason for that is because I'm someone who can adapt. I believe I'm a very adaptable person, right? But then just because I'm adaptable doesn't mean I can't optimize. And I think that's a mentality I haven't had in a while. Where it's more so, sorry, the light is kind of like straining my eyes right now. Where I don't necessarily try and optimize what's best for me, but I'm always like, okay, I'll just adapt to the situation. Like, so I never actually dug into myself as a person and said, okay, I actually prefer this more. I prefer this more. To me, they were just the same thing. Whichever one was like the fastest or whichever one looked the coolest to me, I'll just do that one. So yeah, I want to try as I'm learning more. As I'm realizing how much of an ENTP I am. I want to try finding more social settings to try and derive that energy from. Even though I do realize I can actually do work by myself, I think it's just more so after a while, I like seeing other people gaining ideas, sharing ideas, and then going back to doing stuff by myself. Uh, yeah. So that's something I'm trying to take into account now. How can I take leverage of that whole ENTP thing? Because I think I don't want to like overestimate the thing, but I think that was probably one of my most productive study sessions. Like I don't not put into words how much work I was able to get done that I usually I'm not because of the time or not because I'm not able to do like mentally, but more so just because I forget what to do or something passes my mind, right? So I want to see how I can best optimize situations for myself. And I think another cool concept that kind of plays into it, but I'm not gonna dig into it, is basically the idea of setting your own difficulty level. And it's like that's something I've more so done. And I think that's the negative side of me believing I'm very adaptable, is that I also don't work to optimize the best, and that's something I want to improve on more. But yeah, this is kind of a weird Project Flips episode because they usually end on more of a higher note, but more now for this one, I just kind of want to end on like a realization, like something I work towards and progress on. Okay, have a great day.